Chapter 11 deals with integrating academic concepts in physical education, and it correlates with activities 1 and 2 on your activity outline. So I want to discuss this because your first exam will be on chapters 1, 2, and 11. On page 207 in chapter 11, we begin talking about integrating academic concepts into physical education. And so I'd like to talk about some terminology here because it's very important that you understand what do we mean by the term integration. I want you to know the definition of that. Instruction designed to integrate two or more concepts from different areas to enhance learning. That is what we're referring to when we talk about integration. The root word of integration is integrate. So we are trying to integrate two or more concepts from different subject areas into the PE setting. I also want you to know the different terms that you can use to describe this process of integration. Interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and cross-disciplinary. Interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and cross-disciplinary. These are terms that you can use to refer to integration. So as you see on the PowerPoint here, it says PE offers an outstanding setting with minimal impact on the integrity of the PE curriculum. So your first priority is to teach PE and to teach the PE concepts. Integrating academic concepts should be your secondary outcome. So it's very important that you understand and that you know that integration of your subject area has only a minimal impact on the integrity of the physical education curriculum. It should be very minimal. You can use your stretching exercises by counting from 1 to 10, or you can put spelling into your PE class by having them spell out vocabulary words that they have in the classroom for the week instead of counting from 1 to 10. It's very easy to integrate math. They can skip and count by 4s or 2s or 5s, depending on what you're doing in the math class. So your PE outcomes should still be reached without compromising PE. You definitely don't, you're integrating your academic areas should be a secondary priority. There is articles that show a relationship between physical fitness and activity and academic performance. And basically, they're saying here that the evidence comes from the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control. The Centers for Disease Control puts out a publication every decade. 2010 was the last one, but we should have one now out for 2020. But notice, if you see here on the PowerPoint, over half of these articles, in 43 articles of the 50 in the study, over half had a positive association with the correlation between a better academic performance due to the physical nature, physical fitness, and the activities and the movement that they were doing. So basically we're saying we need to get our kids to move. We've learned if we want to increase their retention, penmanship, and learning, there's 3 ways to learn to increase that. Moving forwards and backwards, side to side, and up and down. So jumping, jump rope, moving forwards and backwards, walking forwards, walking backwards, doing side to side things. We've learned that this helps in learning and retention. Why integrate academic concepts? The first reason I want you to know is for accountability. It's all about increasing the academic achievement by increasing test scores. And so we can help in that area by incorporating academic concepts in the PE setting to help increase their retention level so that they will score better on the test. We can show that we are team players with the PE teachers, classroom teachers, administrators. Being a physical educator, we are also being team players. The classroom teachers may integrate PE into the classroom. There's different ways of doing that. We have our activities that we can do in the classroom. I'll constantly be talking about it throughout the semester, different activities that can be done in the classroom. And we're building goodwill between PE and the academic subject areas in the classroom. We're also increasing their student activity levels in the classroom. Go Noodle is a great website that shows all kinds of great ideas with the videos, very short 2, 3, 4 minute videos that the students can do, and it gets them moving. You just have to become familiar with the website. It's a great website. So, in the book, they say integration in physical education has benefits and limitations. So I want you to know the benefits. The benefits, as we just said, it builds goodwill in the school, number one. Number two, it helps the students who are kinesthetic learners. Kinesthetic learners are those who learn by doing. You have auditory learners who learn by listening. You have kinesthetic learners who learn by doing. And then there's the third one, listening, doing. I'm at a loss. But there's 3 types of learning, but kinesthetic is you learn by doing. Another benefit I want you to know is teaching content in a new setting through a different method. So if the students may not be getting it in the classroom, you may be able to introduce it in the PE setting in a different way, and those students who can see, that's it, visual learners. I knew it would come to me. Auditory, they can hear it. Visual, they have to see it. And kinesthetic, they do it. I'm more of a visual and kinesthetic type of learner. It's better to be all 3 and work on your weak area, like my auditory learning. I need to work on that. But some people don't get it by just hearing it. They have to see it or do it, and that's how I am. Another benefit I want you to know is demonstrating that physical educators are educators too. So we said that. And also another benefit, increasing students' activity level when classroom teachers integrate physical activity into their instruction. So these are all benefits I want you to be familiar with. What are the limitations? Finding time to develop the lessons. That's why I want you to do as much as you can in this class, because you don't have much time once you actually do start teaching. Also, another limitation is planning for the integration that does not sacrifice the actual PE lesson. A third limitation is feeling uncomfortable outside of your area of expertise, outside of your comfort zone. You might be doing something that outside of your comfort zone. So my goal is to expose you to as much as possible while you are here in this classroom, so that if there is some areas that you are not comfortable with, maybe I can help you with that this semester, and so you will be okay with introducing it to your students in the classroom or in the gym or on the playground. So what are the different types of integration that you can do? There's 3 models that you can use. The individual model would be you, the teacher, incorporating ideas into the PE setting with whatever you think may work. Okay, it might be a spur of the moment decision. It might be planned. But a lot of times while you're doing the PE activities, you can quickly adjust. Doing jumping jacks instead of counting, you can use any other means that would help integrate academics into the PE setting. The partner model is another way of doing it, in which you get together with another teacher. Maybe there's 2 second grade teachers. You're one of the second grade teachers and there's another one. So y'all could work together on how to integrate that. In fact, what works well, one of you teachers could take all of the kids this week, and then the other teacher would take them the next week. Or you have an A-B schedule where the A teacher would take them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week. The B teacher would take them Tuesday and Thursday. Next week, the B teacher would do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the A teacher would do Tuesday and Thursday. So that I like that partner model, and it gives you a break from the students, and if there's no PE teacher in your school. The group collaboration model involves a group of classroom teachers with the same grade level and working with the PE teacher. They do a little bit of planning to figure out a way to incorporate social studies. For instance, when the Olympics are on TV, that's a great time to introduce that country where the Olympics is being held and the different activities, social studies, math, language arts, science, technology, music teachers. So in PE, you can use that group collaboration, and it works really well. As I said earlier, and I'm going to state it again, I want you to know when you're integrating the academic content, you got to be very careful, and you have to plan it out thoughtfully to make sure that the activity is still a quality learning experience and it's maintaining the integrity of the PE curriculum. The PE curriculum is the utmost importance. The academic integration is a secondary area integrated into it. So how do you go about integrating academic content? First, you decide on the integration model. Depends on what your school setting is. Are you by yourself? Are there two teachers for the same grade level? Or like at some schools, you have all the kindergarten at one campus. Or you have K through 4 at one campus, but you have several teachers on different grade levels. Or fifth grade is at a different campus. So are you going to use the individual, partner, or group collaboration model? Then the teachers get together and decide on what concepts they will be willing to teach for the academics. And then how can these concepts be taught? Then the PE teacher and the classroom teachers can get together and show the classroom teachers what is being taught during PE, and then they can see and reflect on it at the end of the school year and figure out what worked, what didn't work, and so forth. For math, I want you to know for math, which is one of the easiest to integrate into PE, you can easily introduce counting by counting in groups of twos, fours, or threes, or fives, or tens. You don't have to count 1 through 10 when doing the jumping jacks. You could use the multiples. You can also use math terms in PE. For instance, you can talk about the perimeter. You can talk around the gym or dribbling around. You can talk about diameter. You can also talk about degrees and fractions. So these are all ideas I want you to know that you can use to incorporate math into the PE setting. For degrees and fractions, instead of saying turn facing away from the teacher or turn all the way around, you can talk 180 degrees, 360 degrees, things of this nature to incorporate terminology into the PE setting. You can also do estimation for the students. If you want them to estimate about how far they can jump or how far they can throw, and then you actually do measure it. These are all ideas to integrate math. Counting, math terms, degrees and fractions, and estimating. So I want you to know these 4. This is a picture in your book on page 212 that shows how the young man jumped from the cone to where he is now, and now he's counting how far he jumped. And you could have done an estimation before that and then the actual jump after. For the game mystery number, which is the number 1 activity we will do under Roman numeral 1, this is a reading visual for the students to be able to challenge them to do this for the mystery number game. So this is another way to get the students to incorporate language arts. Another way to incorporate math would be to use something like this, a pedometer data core, where student would put their name and the day and what teacher, and then they would write in the number of steps that they have taken in the place values, thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones, and another way to incorporate math. You could use this peer teaching sheet as a way of the students to grade each other, checking off each of the boxes that apply to what the student did or putting an X by what the student didn't do. And it's a peer teaching tool where one student is grading another, and then they can work on it. So this is a rubric on throwing correctly. So the non-throwing side facing the target, arm up with the elbow high, forming an L, step with the front foot, and rotate the hips. For integrating academic activities, this is dealing again with language arts. This corresponds with body spelling. They're choosing to spell on the floor. I personally don't care for that. I'd rather use your body standing up, but you have that option. They can spell the words while standing or lying on the ground. To incorporate science, they talk about how you can incorporate the senses, plants and animals, basic physics, influence of the physical activity on the body. I also like the integration tips that they talk about on page 220 about the freeze signal. Instead of telling them to stop, you can use the word freeze, and that designates the 32 degrees that water freezes, and you can incorporate that to them. I like also the body part identification. Touch your eyes, touch your nose, your femur, your triceps. You can use these signals to start and stop the class as well. Influencing the physical activity on the body, jogging, walking, increasing their heart rate, sweating, taking their pulse. So that's what they're talking about with the senses, basic physics, astronomy, and physical activity. Levers, you can continue to incorporate science in that. There's actual activity on page 221 called levers, and the concepts being taught are throwing, striking with a racket, cooperation. Basically what you're doing, you're asking them a bunch of questions. What part of your body is making a lever whenever you're throwing or kicking or using a racket? And these diagrams show the different types of first-class lever, second-class lever, third-class lever. This physical education step card shows the students' names on here and how many steps the students are taking day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This correlates with the moving across the United States activity on page 224. On page 223, though, let's backtrack a little bit. They talk about social studies and how we can use some integration tips to incorporate social studies into PE. So they're talking about directions. When I say go, hustle to the line by the south wall. So you talk about direction there. I want you to know how you can study games from other countries. And again, when we're talking about the Olympics and such, this is a great way to do that. Class greetings that are used at other countries. The conversations can be adapted. Cooperative activities. In Chapter 21, they have some teaching cooperative skills and communication, sharing, and listening. To incorporate multicultural activities, I like the game Mexico Kickball that I've added to our activity outline. That's on page 226. Same or Different is another game on page 227 that I liked, but that you could possibly use. How can we incorporate health into PE setting? It's very easy to do that. One of the activities is called Grab a Meal. It's very similar to Barker's Hoopla, which is a game that's talked about on page 573. But you're going to put uh, different plastic foods or in hoops and stuff, and they explain how you play Grab a Meal. You have games based on healthy eating concepts, and you have games on hygiene. This concludes Chapter 11.